Alright, what's up everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Chris Anderson here, NPC Bodybuilder. Got another prep update here for you. We are finally past the 3-week out mark for the first show. 3 weeks out for the NPC Legends Classic in Las Vegas, Nevada on February 14th. And we are under 5.5 weeks out for the Arnold Amateur March 5th in Columbus, Ohio. So we are getting down to the nitty gritty. We're pretty much ready. Just some final details, and let's dig into it. So, health update and biofeedback. Fatigue, obviously it's high, pretty manageable. Cardio did get reduced recently. There's been actually quite a few days recently where there have been no cardio whatsoever, so that has helped with that quite a bit. Hunger is up just a little bit. Food focus, I've noticed, jumped up just a little bit. We did reduce the retatrutide a little bit. More or less pulled that out. We're using it pretty infrequently now to keep digestion going. So that jumped up a little bit, but nothing crazy. I'm not like daydreaming about food or anything, but I just noticed that my eyes linger on the cupcakes at work or something like that, but no temptation for cheating or anything crazy like that. We're way too in deep to it to ruin things now, that's for sure. Strength is in a really good spot, especially my pressing strength. I'm moving weight that is not that far off from my off-season strength, really. The very top end strength isn't quite there, but especially given that I'm not really pushing the training as hard as I can, just because we're intentionally pulling back a little bit, knowing that there's still a little bit more room left. Like, strength is pretty good. Like, I pressed relatively high incline press, like 105s for a really easy 8 the other day, which, I mean, my top end strength, I did like a low incline, like 120s for 8 or something like that, or 120s for 10. So pretty good. Pumps are definitely improved with lower volume. I'm doing mostly 1 or 2 working sets for pretty much all my sets. The training volume is reduced to an absolute bare minimum right now. You just don't need very much volume. And I was looking at my training and like, oh man, only 1 or 2 sets. Well, that's what I was doing. The early part of prep and training was absolute best, running the Project Colossus program. So it's not really that much lower. I don't need to be doing 3 or 4 working sets for every single movement. Mentally, everything's really good. My internal drive and focus is still locked in. My daily routines are still locked in. Blood pressure and blood glucose remain in a really good spot. I only got 1 this week, 120/66 BP. 61 fasted blood glucose. That's always pretty on the low end. I don't see that really raise ever. We did move to daily check-ins with Tommy. We were going to be doing every other day check-ins, and the very first one of those, he said, hey, we're checking in daily. So that's just how quickly the changes are. So a lot of these updates that I'm giving, as far as the diet and stuff like that, it changes day to day. So I don't know exactly what's going to happen that day of. I just send the pictures to Tommy and the feedback, and we take it day by day just based off of where the look is and the feedback. So with that, obviously this last week's pictures, 4 weeks out, I was 186.7. Obviously, pretty good shape. Glutes are in, everything like that. You're going to see from this week's pictures that there is even more detail here. Posing was better, everything like that, a lot sharper. So I was pretty happy with these last week, but I'm really happy with this week's photos. So here we are to 3 weeks out. This is just yesterday's check-in, down to 185.1. I was even lighter this morning. This was yesterday. I was 184.6 this morning. So getting pretty darn light, getting pretty darn dry. But I mean, you can see, detail and separation just getting better and better, getting leaner, harder, drier every single day, which is exactly where you want to be at this point. So pretty darn happy with this. Still need to keep on, refining some of these poses, the quarter turns, things like that. My posing coach gave me some feedback just today earlier, some feedback with like my arm positioning and things for like that for the quarter turns, torso angle and stuff like that for the front lat spread. But I mean, you can see, quads are even more dug out than they were in the front double. I was really happy with this front double today. I got my shoulders nice and level. The elbows, that left elbow likes to poke out. I was able to squeeze the biceps a little bit harder, get a bit more peak. I was pretty darn happy with that. Obviously, we are very flat right now. All the way down to 184. We'll talk about diet here in a little bit, but we should be feeding up here But overall, feeling pretty darn good about these pictures. So this rear double especially, I'm really happy with this rear double. And I was going to have in a comparison from some of my last show pictures, my last prep, but this is the world's better. I mean, like 3 weeks out from my last prep from the first show, I was only like 4 pounds lighter than this. But if you looked at picture to picture, it looks like I added 10 pounds to my back alone. It's so much better, and it's really exciting because I see how much improvement I've made, but I know how much more improvement there is still to make, and that discourages some people because they're like, man, I thought I was doing really good. I thought I would get to where I would want to be. To me, it's more exciting because I know, like, man, what's another 5 pounds going to do? What could 10 pounds do? Everything like that. Don't mind the crazy eyes in the the ab and thigh and the most muscular. I don't really know what was going on there. I do need to stay on the legs a little bit better in this most muscular. That one's the one that's hardest for me to stay on the legs, I would say, for some reason. Just whatever it is, whenever I pull in that core and kind of flex the chest there a little bit and lean forward, I just lose the legs, especially that left quad. So just more practice. That's all it is. I have time to keep on working on it, but I don't pretend to be a master poser for sure. I know that there's still work to be done, but overall pretty happy with this. So this is last week's post-workout pictures. This is in the locker room lighting, so not the greatest. I got much better lighting for this week. I'm going to go through these pretty quickly. I mean, you guys have seen these last week, so obviously there's more fullness and everything with a pump, more food in me. This was an evening training session, training after 4 meals, I believe. This was an evening session, so you can see, especially like side legs are fuller and everything like that. More vasculature and everything in the upper body, the chest. So that's expected. So here is 3 weeks out post-workout. I had to take these at home. I forgot my trunks, so I didn't have them with me at the gym. Thankfully, I live like 3 minutes away from my gym, so I was able to come home real quick and get the exact same lighting set up. You'll also notice I did a slightly different lighting setup for my check-in pictures here. I like this a lot better. Be able to get a little bit better down lighting. There's fewer shadows and stuff like that. And I'm, again, really happy with these. I mean, you can see this, the separation of the lines in the quads and that front relaxed. Really happy with that. Glutes are dry, getting the hamstring separation I need. Even, without as much of a pump as I normally do. This is training only after one meal. You can see some of the back vascularity there in that the rear relaxed pose. So pretty happy with that. You can see some of the arm positioning I have to adjust there with my posing with my quarter turn. So keep on addressing that. And then again, really happy with all these poses. Still got to work on the torso angle in that front lat spread. I need to be leaned forward a little bit more, because when you're leaned more back like I am in here, obviously it looks smaller because you're further away from the judges. I'm just having trouble because when I lean forward a little bit, the lat on that left side particularly likes to like get really thin, and I already struggle enough with that. So just about finding the right balance. Again, just more practice. That's all it is. And again, that rear double, I'm so happy with it. It has turned, I'm not going to call it a strength quite yet, but it's nowhere near the weakness that it used to be, and that's all I can ask for. I did a little bit better job staying on the quads here in this most muscular today post-workout. From the fasted pictures, looked a little bit wider here in the rear lat spread post-workout. Really happy with how I was staying on the hamstrings, both those rear poses. Happy with this. Training and cardio. I'll go to cardio first. Like I said, we're pulling a lot of it out. Tuesday and Wednesday we had no cardio. Put it back in for 20 minutes for a couple of days, I think, like 3 days or so. Thursday, Friday, Saturday had 20 minutes of cardio maybe. And then there was no cardio today. There's no cardio tomorrow, which is normal. It's my leg day and high day. So it's just day by day based off the feedback and the look, like I said. Moving into week 5 of Gamma Bomb, still 1 rep reserve across the board for all movements. Really low volume, which is obviously different from how real Gamma Bomb is. It's pretty high volume. I've noticed my pump is actually improving from that reduced volume. We're just really focusing on quality of movements and getting a really good connection in everything. I also got an extra rest day on Saturday. Tommy told me not to train that day. That was a back and abs day. So I moved a couple of back movements from that to my chest and shoulders today to combine chest, back, and shoulders. And it's working really well. Most of my gym sessions, they're 45 minutes, maybe an hour at the absolute most. Today was just under an hour. It's working really well. In terms of training, a lot of it is based off of feel right now. As far as movement selection, I'm sticking with the themes of Game & Bomb in terms of the exercise sequencing and everything like that, and getting the pump and then moving into a stretch movement. But for the most part, I'm just playing what I call the greatest hits playlist of all my movements. So just every single movement I want to go in, and I know like this is one of my all-time favorite movements. I know it is a great connection for me. It's something I'm going to connect with really well, or hey, I'd really like to do this movement and then this movement. A lot of it's based off of feel, just to make sure I'm getting the best workout possible on that given day. So moving up to diet, again, everything is day by day, but we haven't really made a whole lot of changes. Main changes that Tommy made was non-training day diet. We did get a pretty good carb bump there, went up with 50 grams of carbs. You can see the changes in the white text here spread throughout the day. And again, we're just trying to reduce some of that fatigue and slowly feed up, so I'm not quite as flat. Tomorrow, he did tell me that we're planning to feed up a decent bit on the high day. Who knows exactly what that's going to look like, but it's probably just going to be more of the same foods. He's not going to have me go out and get fucking cheesecake and burger and fries, anything crazy. I'd be absolutely shocked if that happens. And honestly, I wouldn't even really want it because it's just going to mess up everything. I'm just going to want more of it, truth be told. One change that I am doing is on the days where I train in the evening after work. Those are the pump workouts, which everything's pretty much a pump workout right now, truth be told. But on those days, just because my time frame is really shortened from when I get home, try to have a stimulant-free, pump product, pre-workout, and then I have my intra-workout drink, and then post-workout shake, and then I got to get home and then have my last meal before I get to bed, like, 9:30 p.m. It's just a lot of stomach volume to jam into me all in that one time. So I have reduced the water a little bit on those days only to about 20 ounces or so from the 36 to 40 ounces that I usually have. It's the same amount of creatine and salt and everything like that. And I have found that that helps out a lot, just with not feeling quite so full and bloated. It doesn't really change the look that much, but it does change how it feels by the time I'm done with that workout, because that's, that's close to a gallon of fluids in about 1 hour, 3/4 of a gallon. It's just a lot. So I lowered that a little bit, and it has helped. The rest of the training days, it's the full amount of water because it's more spread out throughout the day. And then one thing Tommy had me do also is before all of my check-in pictures in the morning, we're still getting the fasted weight. So wake up, go to the bathroom, no food, no water, get the weight, send it to him. But then immediately before taking the pictures, slam 16 ounces of water with some salt in it, and then put on my trunk, set up my lights and like that. So 2-3 minutes later, then I'm posing, and I found that really helps. It just gives a slightly harder, drier look, a bit more fuller look, because obviously I'm lean at this point, so that fluid is going actually into the muscles. It's not sitting on top of it and in the skin, so it's pushing out against the skin, giving a bit of a harder, fuller look. So it has helped, and we're going to continue doing that. So that's just a piece of data to keep in mind for on show day. Like, hey, how do I look, with water, without water, with a lot of water, with only a little bit, with a bunch of salt, only a little bit of salt. This is all data that Tommy's collecting, so we can do, so we can recreate those conditions for the best look possible on stage. So this non-training day meal plan, this is really the only one that changed. The rest of the meals didn't change whatsoever. at least so far. Obviously, this is day by day, so everything is the same. I'm going to go through these really quickly. And this high day meal plan for tomorrow, probably going to change a bit. He's already told me. I don't expect anything crazy changes. I mean, probably like a bit more rice, a bit more cream of rice, that sort of thing. It's not going to be anything crazy. And he may even decide, hey, let's just go with the same normal high day, and that's it. So that is where we're at for 3 weeks out and 5.5 weeks out. And thank you guys all for watching. Make sure to comment, like, share, and subscribe. I've gotten some really good feedback from you guys. People are asking me questions, giving me kudos and props. So I appreciate all the feedback, guys. I love the comments on the videos, Instagram. Follow my Instagram. It's at Chris_SBD. I post more of my training updates there and everything like that. I got those comparisons from last prep like I was talking about. So really appreciate your time, guys. And as always, work, grow, win.